Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So in this video we're going to be covering SCP-082, also known as Fernand The Cannibal. So as usual I'm just going to be referring to this fine fellow as 082 throughout the SCP, so I don't have to keep repeating myself, and this one sounded like quite an interesting one, so I thought, you know what, this would be a good one to cover. So as usual we'll go through the special containment procedures. So a large living quarters located at Armed Biocontainment Area 14 have been appropriated for the suppression and appeasement of 082. While standard weapons have little effect in policing 082, cooperation is easily attained through a charade. Subject is currently under the impression that it has been made King of France, and that its containment area is actually a grand palace designed for its protection. All interacting personnel are to be made aware of this charade and are ordered to follow the rules. Housekeeping personnel are to be Class D personnel only. Guards tasked with the containment of 082 are to be given Level 2 clearance, but are instructed to refrain from interacting directly with 082. So that's at the moment. So it seems like it's quite an easy one to contain as long as you can keep up this lie. And it's quite interesting that they decided to go with the King of France for this time. I'm not sure if they have to keep changing up the story or what, but it's quite an interesting way of containing someone, making them think that royalty and that the containment room is actually a palace. It's quite a cool way of doing that sort of thing. So let's carry on to the description, and we'll find out a little bit more about 082. So 082 is genetically human. However, through some process, either chemical, hormonal or supernatural, 082 has grown to giant proportions, approximately 2.4 meters tall, so that's around about 8 foot, and weighing over 310 kilograms or around about 700 pounds. 082's physical characteristics are grossly disproportional, basically not in proportion with each other. I can never say that word properly, sorry about that guys. So it has a slightly pointed balding head, a large rounded chin and jaw, a bulbous nose and dark sullen eyes. Subject is both overweight and possesses a great amount of muscle mass. Forearms are muscular and dangerous, with a circumference of around about 71 centimeters, that's about 28 inches. The breadth of the subject's fist is nearly 30 centimeters along the knuckles, so that's about 12 inches. Though his feet are large, they are small in proportion to the subject's body. Subject's skin is tan dark, and overall physical appearance is compounded by numerous scars, the results of years of attempts at suppression and containment. Most X-rays have been difficult to interpret because of the high density of its muscle tissue, but scans have revealed countless bullets and even several knife and sword blades lodged into 082's flesh. So just from that bit, this guy, he seems like he shouldn't be possible with the proportions that it's saying, but somehow it is. And just the fact that it's saying it's overweight but then it's got loads of muscle mass, well that's probably why it is classed as overweight. Like, I don't know if it's just something that I was told to make myself feel better, but I've always been told that muscle weighs more than fat. So even though medically you could be classed as overweight, if you've got more muscle mass, that's probably why. If you've got more muscle, because muscle weighs more than fat. I really hope that's true, and I haven't just been telling myself that. I've been told that to make myself feel better, but there we go. But nah, it's quite an interesting one, and it's quite interesting how they just casually found bullets and like knives and sword blades. Like, how big of blades are we talking here? Because this dude, like, sounds massive, so you can get away with getting like quite big blades just chilling, you know, and it doesn't seem to be bothering him. I mean, like, you know, by the sounds of it, it just seems like very casual. But anyway, let's carry on. So 082 refers to itself as Ferdinand and speaks fluent French and heavily accented English. So mainly speaks French. I guess French might be his mother tongue or his native language, but he can speak English, but it's with a heavy French accent. When it does speak, it does so through enormous clenched teeth. 082 only parts teeth to eat food and to sing. Subject will sing songs of its own pleasing, ranging from forgotten Victorian era bar songs to modern classical, typically while cooking and cleaning. 082 does not comb the hair on the sides of its head, but does cut it and shaves with a large butcher knife originally provided for food preparation. It should be noted that even facial hair is exaggerated, a single strand being as thick as a millimetre, similar to thickness and appearance to graphite of a mechanical pencil. Occasionally, 082 will clench its teeth so hard that the gums bleed. It is not known why this is considered normal, but there we go. So the demeanour of 082 is very carefree. 082 has acquired a wide wardrobe over its time in incarceration, and it enjoys dressing up in many different fashions, including formal wear, military uniform, as a clown, and in women's clothing. New pieces should be made available upon request. Subject often attempts to joke, and is usually polite to personnel, often inviting them to dinner. However, visiting personnel should be aware that at any moment, 082 is capable of attacking and ferociously eating others. Subjects will often apologise for its lack of manners for interrupting someone's conversation by deferring their head while making a mess of his quarters. 082's jaw is strong enough to crack bone, and it seems to enjoy skulls. Attacks are seemingly at random with no motivation. Whether or not subject has recently eaten has no effect on his cannibalistic hunger. Well, that's a bit scary, isn't it then? So, like, imagine that, like, you're just chilling with this, like, giant, all out of proportion and stuff, and then he invites you to dinner, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess you'll stay up at SCP, but yeah, okay, why not, I'll go for dinner, and then he just decides to eat you. Like, that's just really random, especially if there's no rhyme or rhythm behind it. Like, it's not just a case that he's hungry, so that just shows that he potentially enjoys eating people and being a cannibal. Like, and that's mad. Like, so you can't even just try and stay on its good side, and he won't eat. He'll just eat you just full of lols. Like, the day is insane. Like, how would you be able to manage that, really? Like, I can kind of understand how at the start it said that no personnel was supposed to interact with it, because that would just be scary. Like, I'd be too scared to interact with him, to be fair, if I saw him in real life. Like, that is insane. Anyway, we've got the last little bit to go through anyway. So 082 is incapable of obtaining the difference between fact and fiction. When he reads or watches television or films, on several occasions, 082 has expressed a great desire to meet his favourite person, Hannibal Lecter. And if you guys don't know who Hannibal Lecter is, I'm surprised, but for those of you that aren't into horror or stuff like that, one way you're watching this video on my channel. But anyway, Hannibal Lecter is obviously is the cannibal character from Silence of the Lambs, and yeah, he's a very famous cannibal who ends up getting locked up in prison, but a reporter goes because she needs his help on finding another cannibal. But he's a very famous cannibal character basically, and he's very extreme, and he likes his wine with his people, but yeah, and fava beans, of course. But yeah, so that is Hannibal Lecter. So of course he wants to meet Hannibal Lecter. I mean, it doesn't surprise me really. If you're going to put Silence of the Lambs in front of a cannibal that can't tell if it's real or not, then yeah, it kind of makes sense that he wants to meet Hannibal Lecter. I'm sure a lot of cannibals would love to meet Hannibal Lecter, because I mean, I'm not a cannibal myself, just putting that out there. But I can imagine that he would be a relatable guy if he was a cannibal, I guess. I'm not too sure, don't know any cannibals, but there we go, that's just my take on that. Anyway, so subject will believe that all television programming is some form of reality television. Though subjects are shown heightened intelligence in the form of memory and puzzle solving, the concepts of parody, satire and fiction are beyond its understanding. 082 apparently understands the concept of lying, and has shown to know when others are blatantly lying, and generally tells obvious falsehoods when asked about its past. According to 082, he is a vampire, Big Bird, Andre the Giant, Napoleon, the Hulk, Alexander the Great, Captain Hook, Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Frankenstein, and Frankenstein's monster. When questioned about these lies, he gives the excuse, but I only lie when it's through my teeth. and they send up the SCP, and I just find it funny how like this dude's like lying and saying, oh yeah, I'm Dr. Frankenstein, oh yeah, I'm also Frankenstein. Like, how can you be both Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster? Like, I'm sorry mate, but you can't be both. I mean, that would be quite impressive. You know, I will give him that, but yeah, it's just an interesting one, isn't it? And it's quite cool how he's quite smart, but he just can't tell the difference between fact and fiction and what's on TV. And like, you know, he must think that like Silence of the Lambs is like a form of reality TV, like television. Like, that is mad. But I guess it kind of makes sense with the containment procedure, how they make him think that he's like French royalty and that he's staying in a palace. I guess that is gotta be the safest way of doing it, and not accepting when he invites you over for food, because that just seems like a very dangerous plan indeed, and he could just lash out and eat your head because he seems to like skulls. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I did enjoy this one. This one's quite a cool one to cover. Let me know what you all thought, and if you have any suggestions at all, you can let me know either in the comments below, over my socials, which I'll leave linked in the description, or you can drop me an email over in my YouTube bio. It has my email address, and you can just drop me an email there. You know, I'm always open to hearing suggestions, what you guys would like to hear me write on about next. But yeah, and if you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and it helps me out to know what you guys actually enjoy as well, and so I know what to rabbit on about. I mean, I can still rabbit on about stuff if it doesn't get as much traction, but it's just, you know, I'll probably do less sort of videos for the ones that don't get as much traction. So yeah, it's a good indicator of knowing what goes on. So anyway, without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.